Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Mike is here.
I am.
Yes. And Steve is here. But Steve, there you go. Morning, Steve. We can't hear you. Even though you unmuted yourself, we can't hear you. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning show is being brought to you by Adamus.com, makers of quality recorders and converters for professionals.
Can I be converted into somebody who's 30 years old?
No, you can't.
No.
No, you can't. You cannot be converted to anything.
No.
You're going to have to stay the way you are. We like you that way.
Okay.
Well, congratulations, Spence.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
And of course, congratulations to Mike, too. But we already said that last week, I think.
Congratulations to us all.
To everybody. Everybody.
Everyone.
What?
And bless us, everyone.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw Ira David Wood I haven't been to the Christmas parade in probably 10 years or more. And it's interesting because he goes by at the beginning of the parade on some float for something. And then he's also on a float at the back of the parade. So apparently he got to the end of the parade, ran around and got on another float and rode through it again. This Ira David Wood is a local actor who plays Ebenezer Scrooge in the traditional, well, non-traditional, I should say, Christmas Carol that shows every year in Raleigh. It's a lot of fun because it's all...
You did not go out to watch the parade, right? You watch it on TV?
Oh, I went to the parade.
Really?
Yes. I stood there and before the sun hit us, it was pretty cold.
Mm. So did the kids come back?
Yes, they got back. They were actually here last night.
So everything is okay.
Everything's good. I wish
Mike,
I'd spent 5 days in Dominican Republic.
Mike, yours came back too.
What
Right?
came back?
Huh?
What came back?
The kids. From the honeymoon.
Yeah? Is this a trick question?
No. I
Okay.
was asking,
Yeah, they actually came back.
and everything went okay.
Finally, what a mess.
Oh, what happened?
Okay.
Well, and this is something people don't think about. They were down there Wednesday. He was out on a boat. They were going out to this coral reef to go diving, and he lost his wallet.
Oh.
And to make matters worse, she put her picture ID in his wallet so she wouldn't have to carry anything. Now, when you think about it, if you were to go on an in-country trip and you lose your wallet and credit card and all of your identification, how do you get back on the airplane? So we started researching it and lost credit card and had no money. All of his cash was in his wallet, and we had it sort of worked out where he was going to have the credit card and did get a credit card, a replacement credit card the next day. But anyway, thankfully he got back to his car, and had fallen out of his pocket and onto the floor.
Oh,
But it was what a wake up call.
I've had a few guests this summer while I was working as a driver guide who lost their wallets. And they just started their trip. Guy had $1,000 in cash, all of his credit cards in, and they were the first day of their trip, literally, and they couldn't find it. And they were on their way to another location. It wasn't like they could hang around and look for it.
I mean, how do you get on the airplane? You need a picture ID. You need two forms of identification. And one thing that I did learn is that whenever you travel, you should always hold on to your used boarding pass until you get back home, because that can serve as one of two forms of identification for TSA to get you back onto the airplane.
Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that one.
Well, you had to show your ID to get the boarding pass.
That's true. But there's no picture linking you to the boarding pass. You could have picked it up.
Well, I'll tell you the scary part. I actually called TSA to said, I mean, they've got an early flight out. They're going to be getting up really early. If they get to the airport, if they're held too long, they're going to miss their flight. If they miss their flight, you know, these airlines really screw you big time if you miss a flight, dollar-wise. And if there's even a flight back, and I just want to do everything I can to try to make sure that it's easy for them to get back on the plane. And she said what happens is if the two methods of identification they bring, whatever they are, because I mean we were going to overnight him his expired passport, and her mother found a scan of her driver's license that she had. We were going to send all that, but they said that the scary part was the TSA said, well, if they're not satisfied with their identification, they will be taken off into a separate room, and they will be asked a series of questions to determine if they are who they say they are. Well, can you imagine what that series of questions is? They're going to dig into that NSA database and pull out information that they really shouldn't have.
I know that when I've traveled, especially overseas, I make copies of my passport and stick it on the bulletin board in my office, just in case. I keep a copy in my luggage too.
I strongly recommend that if you travel, like particularly one of the things you were saying about take a picture of your credit cards with your phone, things of that nature. That's what you should certainly do. Take a picture of your driver's license, take a picture of your credit card, but if you lose the telephone, now you got another problem. People have all your information.
Yeah, that.
I believe my microphone's working now.
Make sure you put a passcode on your phone.
Yeah.
Biometrics.
That just stops honest people, though. Amnon, I just emailed you the
Okay.
PDF file.
I'll do it whenever the conversation goes in a way that you guys carry it, and I'll go do it. But what? So why don't what they need to do is they need to maybe fingerprint you when you get on the plane for a purpose.
Well, just put a chip in your neck.
Well, a chip can be taken out, but I mean, I'd like to see you walking up to a TSA with a finger in your hand and the what?
That was a joke. I have no intentions of being chipped.
Well, Steve, you are muted.
Yeah, I'm muting myself.
There
so that
you
I
are.
don't cause
Okay.
any noise.
Just-
Hopefully I'm here now. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So what was wrong, Steve?
Well, for some stupid reason, when Google Chrome starts, it always seems to go to the default that isn't the default. So I don't know. I just had to change the settings for the microphone and audio thing jobby. You would think it would remember from last time, wouldn't you?
Well,
it's an
Well,
age
it is a
related.
computer, and it's supposed to be, what's that word? Intelligent.
That's the part that I see a lot of articles recently about robots coming, artificial intelligence coming. Well, just how good can it be if it's people that actually build this stuff?
Well, but it's smart people building things for the rest of the world.
besides, people may be lazy, but then they'll build the robots to do even better.
And then eventually the robots will build themselves and we will become insignificant.
And then we'll have what is it? Skynet.
Look what Merle put in the chat. The UK's first poop-powered bus went into service on Thursday as part of an effort to reduce air pollution.
I did see that story, and yes, you can imagine what they've painted it to look like. It's the
Brown.
side of it is basically 4 pictures of
And
different individuals sat on the toilet.
You're kidding.
No, that's the way they're advertising it and
And are
showing
they-
what they're doing.
Are they pulling a quote-unquote public loo?
A public loo behind them. No,
Yeah.
the ironic thing is there's not a toilet on the bus.
And they have,
Otherwise
what
they-
kind of recycling is that?
If they have it on the bus,
If they did have a toilet on the bus, would it be a perpetual motion machine then?
it would be classed as one. I think that's why they haven't done that. Yeah,
If they put politicians on it, it would go forever.
That's right.
yeah. It would.
Well, they-
It wouldn't need to stop at all ever.
All they'd have to do is breathe.
Oh
There's a
boy.
picture I just put in chat of the poop-powered bus. And it actually has 5 people on the toilet.
5 was it? I'm sorry. I must admit, I looked at it and thought, you're kidding me. And
You
you're
know-
putting that on the side of the bus as well. That's a wonderful advertisement.
If the old cooking oil powered vehicles smell like popcorn, what does this smell like?
Downtown Raleigh, they have a trolley that people are sitting. It's like a conference room, conference table, at the length of the trolley, and everybody's sitting around the table, so they're facing each other, and there are pedals. And they all pedal, and that's how the trolley moves. So this here is well, I mean, you want to go to the next bus, next station, you better go and do something. That's amazing.
Yes, like we want to go to Glasgow. I'm sorry, we don't have enough fuel for that trip. Is anyone feeling like they want a curry?
Yeah, they do have, but in addition to that particular venue, Amnon, they have one that's a bar. It's a mobile bar that you pedal. Do you remember when you dropped the kids off after bringing them over from the church, how, well, you probably didn't see it, but right behind you was the pedal bar going by, and it was probably 25 degrees out. Those people didn't care what the temperature was. That one's actually round. It's not long, like a rectangle. It's just a big round device with apparently the alcohol is in the middle. And people tip their glasses as they're pedaling. Yeah,
right.
Movie Buff, I saw your post about the Turing test, and it's great, but you go back to thinking about how well it's man that wrote the test and the standard. So I would love to say that it's going to be would be infallible, but
All right, let's see what else is happening. New York City. Hey Andrew, are you still in the chat? Did anybody hear about it snowing in Manhattan?
Not me.
Heard about
I
it
didn't
over
either.
here. Jorvik Mike was telling us that there was 7 foot of snow in the period of a day, which they normally get in a month or something.
Yeah, but that's in upper state New York. That's almost in
Oh.
Canada.
it's mostly lake effects now.
Yeah, that's by Lake Erie.
But they're expecting rain, which will be horrible because it will just load the snow that's on the roofs down with more weight. They've already had many roof collapses on flat roof buildings, and they're concerned. So they're out there. They're volunteers going to help clear the roofs of buildings, anticipating this rainstorm and freeze.
But anyway, New York City announced it has picked the companies that will deliver the technology behind its development of free gigabit Wi Fi to payphone stations throughout the city. The Link New York City, Link NYC stations will also include charging outlets, touchscreen displays that interface with city services, and free U.S. calling. It will be funded through advertising. Construction will begin in 2015, and officials expect up to 10,000 stations to be installed before it's done. This is just in New York City. So they're saying that they are going to replace all the payphones with stations like that.
So I see the implications of this, and it's people hanging around where you don't want them to hang around, and potential abuse of this. And what neighborhoods? How do they pick the neighborhoods? How do they pick where the
I don't
phones
know.
go?
I would think that they would have to put it everywhere. Now, at that point, I don't see that there will be a problem because, okay, with payphones, people will go. I don't know if this is probably going to be free, so there'll be no money involved. So criminals will get nothing by breaking it and to rob the money.
No, I mean about criminals attacking the people that are using the phones.
Well, that would happen with anything.
Yeah, that's true. They could. It's just. I thought the payphone was dead. I haven't. Well, I did actually see one recently. I guess it was in an airport. But
An actual station like that with
an actual payphone, yeah. There's still some left.
oh,
This was in. It was probably in Seattle Airport or something like that. As we were, or Los Angeles. I don't remember. We were coming home. But yeah, I thought payphones were just not a viable, economically viable anymore. And now to do it just with advertising, that seems risky too. What's it going to look like? I'm not trying to dump all over this to say it's not going to work, but it's a lot of money to spend to rely on advertising to get you for your break even.
well, it's not in New York. It's not going to cost them.
Well, somebody's paying the bill to put this stuff in.
The companies.
No, but what? How do they? What they get? They're getting reimbursed by who? By advertising or by somebody who's paying them to do it?
As far as I know, by advertising.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have Andrew in the chat. Maybe Andrew is saying the Wi-Fi covers 150 feet. So I guess you can stop your car around it and just link.
So I like how they're doing gigabit Wi-Fi, which I don't think there's really how many machines or devices are actually equipped with that chipset yet, too.
Well, that's what they said they're doing. All right, let's see what else. Google. 10 years run as Firefox default search engine is over. Yahoo wants more search traffic, and a deal with Mozilla will bring it. In a major departure for both Mozilla and Yahoo, Firefox's default search engine is switching from Google to Yahoo in the United States. I'm thrilled to announce that we've entered into a 5-year partnership with Mozilla to make Yahoo the default search experience on Firefox across mobile and desktop. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I install IE, I change it to Google. Firefox probably is going to be the same thing. You know, you switch it to a different search. and it's amazing how many people when you ask them, what do you want your homepage to be, and they say
What?
Google. What?
What?
Yeah, they want Google as
Yep.
their homepage, and you explain that what you don't need to do that anymore because you can just type.
You don't
And
want Bing?
the what?
You don't want Bing as your search engine?
I don't like Bing. I don't know. I never got used to it. But what do you use,
I use Google.
Mike? What do you use?
Google, unfortunately.
Yeah, Google. I don't like Bing either. I always, whenever I hear Bing, I always think Bing.
Now, I will tell you one other thing that if you are trying to do some research with regard to maps, if you do not get the view that you're looking for in Google Maps, go over to Bing Maps, because in some instances they have a better shot. You get a better zoom in or a better angle or so forth. And the Bing Maps are very good.
Oh, I didn't even know there was such a thing. See, they don't do a good job.
I have noticed a few times in the last year where Google Maps have not been accurate. And one time when I was using Google Maps on my phone, it actually messed up my directions. That was when I was up in Alaska, so I couldn't really say, maybe that's just not that well traveled to be updated, but
Remember when MapQuest was the big dog in town?
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of websites that display a MapQuest map for their location or
But if I see them linking to MapQuest, I get the address and throw it into Google Maps.
yeah.
How do you get something so new and unique and useful, and then let the world pass you by? Maybe Google did it with technology money. I don't know.
I don't know, but they did it.
stimulus money.
But I'm certainly no big fan of Google. If you watch this, terms and conditions may apply on Netflix. You will not be a Google or a Facebook fan.
And that's because
They own you.
oh, there was a story I didn't save it. It was too long about the EU has a plan how to break up Google. Um,
I'm sure they need to be broken up. Um, the
ah,
solution to me is competition. The question is, how do you compete with them?
That's what a lot of people are saying over here. Is why are you trying to force them to do that? It's predominantly because they're so big and they're not European. Seems to be the answer.
Then why isn't there a European company that's competing with them? And I say that to say this: is their search algorithm so unique that no one can compete? I mean, according to this propaganda that was put out by Bing, side-by-side tests on two searches, more than 50% of the people preferred the results they got from a Bing search. Now, who knows if that's true, but is it really that different? Of course, I mean, if you go with Bing, you're doing Microsoft, so you're out of the frying pan into the fire. I guess it really doesn't make a lot of difference.
DuckDuckGo used to be quite popular.
But one of these websites, I don't remember which one it was. Maybe it may have been Dogpilot, may have been DuckDuckGo. They really were just a front end for Google. They'd written a search engine that all it did on the back end was do a Google search and report the results. Does that ring a bell?
Not for me. It doesn't know. DuckDuckGo I did try using for some time back when there was lots of people with banners saying Google don't be evil, and there was sort of stories going around about them doing nefarious things. I did try DuckDuckGo for a while, but the first thing I generally do is, when I think if I want to find something, I just log into Google.
I'm looking at Dogpile right now. Let's see, they got images, video, news, local shopping, like that one where they got shopping. So what are we shopping for today? Let's see. Think of something. LCD monitor. Thank you. First one, double sight, 21.5-inch widescreen LED LCD monitor with built-in speakers, dual, $627. Asus 20-inch for $114. Sort. How are we going to sort this? Let's sort low to high. Here is a 15.6, $93.90. Boy, I mean, these are high prices. This is not even funny. Here's a 19, 20. Yeah. These prices aren't so hot. Well, what else? Let's see. Let's go back and let's do news. And let's search on Marion Barry. Marion Barry remembered for the love of DC. It's Associated Press via Yahoo News. Marion Barry dies at the hospital. I mean, yeah. But they don't have all of these advertisements blasted all over the place. That might be worth something. What about local? What do we want? Let's see. For Raleigh, NC, how about we go to Internet Service Provider? Cricket Wireless. They're not even an internet service provider. Panera Bread. Oh, good. Borders. They haven't. Borders. I guess they're still over on North Hills. So I mean, this is useless. Riverbank Consulting. Howard Maryland Partners. Trimark Internet Marketing Solutions. Dogpile. I don't know. Be interesting to see. It might be worth playing with. What is one of the benefits? See, I just clicked on the web button on Dogpile and it says search results from Google, Yahoo. It appears that Dogpile, maybe somebody can correct me, but it appears that Dogpile is an aggregator of those two search engines. So Alan's talking about he has a friend who manages to install every toolbar under the sun. It's easy to do if you're not paying attention, and most people, a lot of people, don't pay attention. But there is a really good program that helps get rid of that crap, and I'll put it here. It is called Adware from bleepingcomputer.com. Anybody home?
Yeah, I'm back. Hey, Spence. You sent me a PPTX. Will not work. I guess he's not there.
Currently unavailable.
The what?
Oh, not important. I was just being facetious.
Facetious?
Facetious.
Facetious.
All right, I need help with something here.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's going to take a minute, so if you got something else, go ahead and cover it.
No, I was. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can. I've got some other. You would never think that we talk about Barbie.
Yeah, I'm writing an article for a terrestrial radio magazine.
Yeah.
And I need to tell you what my topic is, and then we can discuss it. I wish Nick were here. Need his input as well. But one of the benefits that internet talk shows like this one have over terrestrial radios, most of the terrestrial radio with which I'm familiar, is that internet stations have embraced chat rooms.
Right.
If you think about it, you hear a radio talk show, a Dave Ramsey, a Rush Limbaugh, a Alan Combs. If you want to interact with that show, you have to call in on the telephone. And then you have to get through the call screener. Then you have to be willing to put up with the abuse from the host once you get on the air. When you get on the air, you're on the air for 30 seconds. You probably don't get to say what you called in to say. And then they're on to more commercials. To me, as far as I am concerned, the chat room creates a great benefit for any show that uses them, because people are allowed to interact. I mean, you look at the chat room here. A lot of the traction we get here is with the chat room, because people who should call in and talk don't. They just chat, and we're at least glad to have them in the chat room. So my question is this: if you were going to start today to add a chat room to your website or to your terrestrial radio show or whatever, you want to set up a website, a chat room, and you're not particularly proficient setting up websites and don't want to spend a ton of money, what approach would you take? And I asked that particularly, Amnon, because of the approach that you took. Would you do that again and explain to me how all of this works?
Oh, I'll do it again in a heartbeat. I don't like the main reason I don't like to do the things that most podcasters are doing, which is something that's hosted somewhere else, is the fact that you depend on somebody else's reliability. Now, when you go somewhere else, is it broken often? No. But it is much better when you're in control of it and you can make changes, whatever you want to change. You have access to the source code. You can customize it. Now, the bad thing about this, and I don't know that it is bad, because it may be something that's staring me in the eye and I'm not seeing it, is what we were talking about before. We have hundreds of people that are coming to the page and are listening and watching us and don't bother or don't know how to log into the chat. And let me take this opportunity to say, you guys that are out there that you didn't log into the chat, to the right of the video, there is a field that says enter your nickname or enter your username. Just put whatever you want in there and join the chat. So the other services that most people are doing, what is that? The chat, the Shack. I can't remember. The one that Andrew uses and Nick is using, and most people use. They have you can configure it that when somebody comes into the page, they get logged in automatically with an obscure name. Could be C2K17, and it'll keep going. And then you can change your name within the software. Now, I know you can change your name, but I don't know that I can force, and that's what I was talking about, forcing, and you were saying, why would you want to force people? That's what I mean, auto-log people in. That's one thing that I would like to have Ron add to this, but it may be there. IRC, yeah. The IRC also allows people from anywhere to log into the chat without actually listening to us. You can sit at home and fire your IRC client and log in to our chat and never listen, watch, or get involved in what's happening in the discussion. You will be involved in the chat. I'm also told that there's a lot of people that abuse it and spam it that way. How true is that? I don't know. But I always felt like that it's much better to do it this way, where you can control it. You can size it the right way to be in the right. I mean, I like our setup. I don't like other setups that I see where the chat is underneath the video because you have to. There's not enough room on any monitor to display both. So either you have to pop it out and go from one alt tab between the two, or you have to scroll up and down in order to look at the chat and look at the video. Look at the chat, look at the video. So this is why I like it. I like this one. And Jeff Bundy saying your chat is very effective, easy, and reliable, and create engagement. You are there. You seeing what's happening in the video, and you have the chat right in front of you. You don't have to move around. Even if your resolution is lower, with today it's 1024 by 768 is the minimum that anybody's using. And that's how I've got it kind of arranged. You can't do it with the other ones. I haven't seen anybody doing like that with the other ones. Steve had it. Steve did a nice job in the old site where it was his chat was to the right of the video. And it worked. In the new site, it's underneath, I think. It's not as... There's Andrew, but he's muted.
Good morning.
Morning. It's below. So again, when I go in, I find myself on Guys from Queens. I found myself doing the same thing, scrolling up, scrolling down, scrolling up, scrolling down. I just like it like this, Mike.
You need to cater to the lowest denominator, which is, as you say, 1024 by 768. Oh, yeah. So,
right.
If you've got a big enough monitor, which is fine, in that case, you probably won't need to scroll up and down if you've got a high resolution, but the average person don't. So you have to cater for them.
I tried it with a big monitor too. And as you go to a bigger monitor, the video is bigger. The video does not stay small like that. So you still end up, I mean, I'm talking big monitor, I'm talking about 25-inch.
Right.
You still have, because the problem is that the last line of the chat is all the way at the bottom of the chat. So you have to go all the way to the bottom. Now, if it was working the other way around, which is weird, I don't know that there is such a thing, and it will be at the top, yeah, you can see. But that's why I like this one, Mike. Yeah.
He needs to get everybody to use an IRC client.
You what?
Get people to use a client, like an IRC client.
Right, and then people have to use an IRC. Well, they don't have to use an IRC client.
I prefer them to. I give them, it's an incentive for me when they use it, because then they stay logged in.
Yeah, but then again, you are getting to the same situation where I'm talking about, that they have to go between the IRC client and the video on the website.
Most people are listening. The audio, the video really doesn't matter. People don't stare at the video for the entirety of, a couple hours. They like to look at it every now and then, but as long as they can hear you, that's what they care about.
I like to watch the video, because a lot of times the discussion also has a lot to do with the expression on the person's face. They show you something and they say, it's about that big, and this is why the audio that comes afterwards when we archive it. A lot of people were telling me, well, you're talking about things and you're showing things, you're not mentioning them, and we don't know what you're talking, what you meant when you say such and such. And I understand that. It's because I expect everybody to be watching. And I'm thinking, if there's a video there, there's a video there for a reason. It's for people to watch. Otherwise, we would do an audio podcast. And at that point, like on the radio, you never thought about going to the microphone and say, it's about this big. You wouldn't say that.
Video, the video for me it's a perk. It's just people just looking into what I'm doing. I never address the camera.
Well,
Mike, how do I sound?
Terrible.
I'm on a snowball.
Oh, it's worse than terrible.
Is it that bad?
Oh, it's horrible. Well, not when you pick it up
How
and
about
get it
when I
close
come
to you.
close?
It's not that bad when you get close to it, but other than that, it was worse than a webcam.
So if I talk into it like this, it's not bad.
More gooder. You don't have it on
about-
omnidirectional, do you?
I'm on 1. Should I be on 1?
I don't recall. It's either 1 or 2.
Try and switch it and see.
When
Here's
it's
2.
No.
All right,
No.
2 is 10 dB pad. You go back to 1.
when it's close to your mouth, it's good, but then most
Here's
mics
3.
aren't like that. As it's a snowball, Andrew, throw it out the window.
Morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good morning, Nick.
Spence. He's still not here. Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Awful,
We're
Nick.
doing
Thank you for asking.
Andrew, I'm glad that you're awful. That makes me feel better about myself.
I'm in my living room today.
I see that. I see that. I like the set. It's a nice
I'm
little...
thinking about doing shows from here. What do you think? If I just sit back and I just start doing shows?
Can you put your feet up? Your feet have to be in the frame,
look.
or
Here's the living room. Hold on. Let's see. Give a little tour of the living room.
Okay, I'm not done with my chat
oh,
question.
go back to that. Go back to that, Mike. Look what's on the TV. Mike, look.
Let me look at what's on the TV.
Look.
Oh,
No, that was Andrew.
I got CNN.
why did you want me to see that?
It's your favorite.
CNN?
Yeah.
Well, if Andrew watches it, that's one of 2 people.
I said I watch it every now and then because I'd like to see how.
All right. It was a joke. It was a joke. Let's not.
No, I like to watch it because I
Let's
mean,
not get the-
seriously, you watch it, it's like entertainment.
I love Don
Really?
Lemon. He's my
You
favorite.
call that entertainment, really?
I mean, I'll
I
watch,
watch it for Don Lemon and his bow ties.
It's amazing how these guys can either they're clueless or they're lying with a straight face. So
Okay.
So, Mike,
it's interesting.
Mike, to go to your chat thing, you were talking about,
Yeah.
you know, how it's engaging and people benefit, but I've actually heard the complaint from radio people saying that it's totally distracting.
Okay, so that's up to the I mean, that's up to the show's host.
If the video is a video that is actually show that the whole show is a video and you have to watch in order to understand what's going on, then the chat will be distracting.
Well, no, I think for a lot of people it's distracting because remember, Nick and I come from a different generation where we're used to constant streams of information coming in at the same time. If you've been doing radio for 25, 30 years and you transition to the internet in the later part of your career, and now you have this chat room, that you have Twitter and it's constantly engaging you and it's constantly correcting you or giving you information, it could totally be a learning curve and an adjustment for you.
Right. And it's
But
great.
see, but the thing here, the good thing about the chat is, so let's say Amnon, you're right, you're doing something and it's a little distracting. The best part is you can just minimize the chat. The chat is also good for just the viewers to talk to each other, not even,
True.
yes, also talking to the host. But
True.
if Andrew and I are having a conversation about what you're talking about in the chat, you don't even have to be looking at it.
That's correct. But I mean, how do you
Sure, but you also have to remember, is it a liability to have a chat room if you're a major? Why do you think a lot of radio stations don't do chat rooms? It's a
Please.
liability.
I'll tell
No.
you why.
They don't want to deal with it.
No,
They
no,
don't-
no,
they
no,
don't
no.
know.
No.
If you've got moderators that are moderating the chat and keeping an eye on it so that they can then feed you information that's coming in via the chat so you don't have to, as the host, look at it continuously.
I'll tell you exactly why we couldn't do a chat room. Mike, do you want to take a stab at that?
Do I want to take a stab at why we couldn't do a
It's
chat
why
room?
the radio station did not want me to build a website a chat room into the website.
They had,
It's
as
very
I
simple.
recall, they had this nonsensical idea that letting people listen on the internet and participate on chat would cause them not to listen over the air.
Exactly. They
What?
want people to call in, not to chat. They never wanted people to be able to chat. They said, we have phone lines. That's how we get our ratings. We want people to call in.
Well, I mean, I can understand. It doesn't make any sense, but I can at least understand the point.
Yeah.
To somebody that has no clue what they're talking about, I can see I can see that as a valid point.
Any form of media that gives you interactivity is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Steve, with radio, they don't. It's all about how many people are listening on the radio. They don't care how many
Right.
It's a
people are
one-way
listening on the.
conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they don't care about interactivity unless
Right.
it's a
But
phone.
I'm telling you, Mike, a lot of hosts do not want a chat room. They don't want to be told that they suck. They don't want to be told that they're wrong. A lot of people can't handle it.
Oh,
I love that part about the chat room. I love when people correct me.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a lie.
That's
No,
a,
do you think, Mike, Rush Limbaugh would want a chat room?
Well, he really doesn't count because it would be impossible to read his chat room. It would be flying by so fast. It'd be impossible.
Hey, Spence,
Yes.
the file you sent me is no good.
No good for what?
It is a PPTX. It's not a PDF.
PPTX is PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
Oh, I sent you the wrong file?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I will resend. I saved it as both.
Okay, well, yeah. So, I mean, I never really looked at it. I just overwrote the other one,
No, that's fine.
and I couldn't open it. So, anyway, no, I mean, I'm here on this. I'm here 100% with Nick. I love it when people correct me. That's how I learn. And there is nothing wrong with saying I'm wrong or I don't know, and let somebody tell you how it is.
When I was doing On the Radar, there's always game release, when games are released, and there's just so much stuff releasing at the same time. It's so hard to keep control of all the dates. So I would say a date, and it would be totally wrong. And it was nice that somebody in chat, because I obviously during the show I'm not gonna look up 10 different games, but somebody in the chat could say, "Hey, Nick, no, that's wrong. It releases, the 23rd, not the 21st." And then I could correct myself and then move on.
The chat also has the advantages it could take the discussion in a completely different direction by the participation from people there.
Mm-hmm.
They may make a comment and then it could go off in a completely different road, leading on from where you were talking about before. So I think it helps to increase content as well.
Absolutely. And you do want the show to cater to the audience, and it's a great way of catering to the audience because then you go in the direction that they want. What's the difference when you ask people, what do you want to hear us talk about versus put it in the chat? The chat is, and we have ways that people can call in and talk to us, but a lot of people don't like to talk. They are shy being on the air. That's not their thing. So the chat opens a door for them. Now, to have email, I mean, I finally got the station to allow an email client there that people could send email. Now, that was a pain in the butt. But to have a chat like this, it's great. It helps everybody. It helps the host. It helps the audience. It's really nice. I just wished that there was a way that the chat could stay there for people that are coming in later to see what it is. But there's a downside to that, so I'm not doing it. But it's
all right. So here's what I need from the group.
Okay.
There are many online services where you can create your own chat room online. You don't have to do your own server. You don't have to get involved with IRC.
Right.
There was a website. Oh, I just found it. It's a website, and I want you guys to look at this and tell me what I'm overlooking. It's called rumbletalk.com, rumbletalk.com. They claim to be hosting community chat rooms for 3,600 radio stations.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the problem?
Well, I don't know. I mean, look at this service because the article that I'm writing is going to go into the various ways that chat rooms can be created. And there's kinds of questions that, you know how it is, you put an article out there, you cover 27 things, and somebody will write immediately, well, yeah, but what about 28? What about 29? What about 30? And my suggestion would be, again, this is kind of what we would call a survey article. I'm certainly not trying to teach people how to set up chat rooms because I don't know how to set them up. But if someone can go to a website and create a chat room and then give out the link for chat, then they're in business. But if they want to integrate it with a website, it takes a little more skill. If they want to go the conventional IRC route, where it's accessible like Andrew's through the web interface using whatever that chat client he's using that's built into the website on top of an IRC backend, those are all options that can be explored. But there will be two things that will be very. Remember, we've talked about broadcast engineers, and I used to be one. I guess I still am one. They're a very different bunch. They are very smart people. They get involved in things that the average person cannot imagine, like dealing with 15,000 volts across a pair of final tubes in a transmitter, the tubes being in series. If one goes down, the other goes down. You have to maximize the screen current, the screen voltages have to be all this crap. The drivers, the tubes get mushy. Can you convert to solid state drivers? I mean, they get into some really heady stuff. Standing wave ratio interfacing the output network on the transmitter to the transmission line. There's a leak in the transmission line that causes a bill. On and on and on and on and on. I mean, it's a difficult job to keep a big radio station on the air. But these guys, many of them are not web designers, web developers. If they're asked to create a chat room for a website, they don't know where to start. They have no interest in doing it. They don't like the idea. So what is the easiest path that, let's say that Amnon were not an ISP and didn't have the knowledge that he has, the people that he has. Let's suppose that Amnon starts to put this show on the radio and he wants a chat room. What's the easiest way Amnon could get a chat room?
Mike, when I started, we didn't do it like that. We started with Chatango and some other ones this one is $25 a month, the cheapest, by the way, and I don't see anything special about it, except I don't understand what is, where did I see it? Allow your audience to stay 4 times longer? What does that mean?
What are you talking about?
Rumble Talk says.
Rumble Talk is special because you could embed videos in it, and you could log in with any number of your services. So if you have a Twitter, a Facebook, a Google Plus account, you could use those to log in. You could also embed video, have image links. There's a lot more you could do with it.
So it's a lot more distractive.
Yeah.
Would you call it a premium service?
Yeah, it is a premium because you got to pay for it.
No, I don't mean that. I mean in terms of quality.
I don't know much about it. The only problem is the limitation with chatters. So you're only allowed 250 chatters most in the chat.
Mike, there are so many services out there, and I can't even name more than Chatango because I remember that all it takes is going into their site, set up an account, and you get a one-liner that you have to embed. That's it. And you have a chat room. I mean, this is the same way. And there's
Amnon, this starter plan is $14 a month.
Well, when I see the prices, maybe I was looking at the thing that came up. Oh, I see. Okay, it goes the other way around. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I don't know about it, so I couldn't tell you how it is. But it's a chat is a chat is a chat. All you want, the more bells and whistles you have in it, the worse it is. And the one thing I saw in here that I would think that you would have a problem with, Mike, was archive and search all conversations.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I love that. Why?
Because that makes people self-conscious about chatting.
Yep. I mean, when you come in and you just chat and you know that it's gone, when the show's over, that's one thing. But when it stays there,
I mean, my servers archive everything.
baloney. I cannot go
Why?
and I cannot go and see what was talked about in on Free for All.
No, you can't, but I can.
I understand, but this is for the users to be able to do.
No. When it says everything is archived, that's you're archiving it.
I kind of,
Rumble Talk.
I don't know, maybe. The other thing that I don't like about the IRC, the stuff that you guys use, is when you come in and you sign in, all you see is what is happening from that point on. With ours,
No, what we could also do is we could do like the last like 50 lines or 40 lines.
well,
we
I mean,
we could implement that.
with the one that we use, it's you come in and you see everything from the beginning. The minute you log in, you can see everything, and I like that because people can. I mean, you see a statement and you say, "What was this in response to?"
I mean, if you use a client for if you have an IRC client, I believe we do a couple lines.
Okay, I don't know. I don't use one, so I have no idea. Maybe.
The thing with
but-
IRC is it's such a popular service that so many people use it. It does need to be moderated, doesn't it?
I would think that it does have to be moderated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember
Spam filters,
I remember
access control,
somebody-
archive status.
what I'm
So
sorry.
Amnon, this isn't for the end user. This is for the implementer. Whoever's implementing this on their website and
Well,
paying for it. That's who the features are for.
I don't know how you figure that out because it starts with talk from your smartphone or tablet. That's for the user.
Yeah, but
So-
they're just telling you the features that it provides. It's not for me who's logging into your room.
Okay, well
these
maybe
features are all
in
for
that
the,
case,
implementer.
I guess it's okay. But
I'll tell you something. I had to go through a search history for somebody else's IRC because it came back to me that I apparently said something negative about somebody,
yeah.
and I don't ever remember doing that. And the host of the server was able to give me a chat log of every single thing that I've ever said.
Okay, so I guess there are ways that they can get into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's again this is Mike at 14 bucks a month, and I don't know if you get. I'm sure it's enough. I mean, what is it limited to? Did you read enough to know what it's?
I think it's
Nah,
50.
It's a chart there, but I've got a question for Andrew. Maybe you'd know this best. I'm reading on the Rumble Talk FAQ or whatever some blog here when they're talking about the cost of a chat room script should be calculated by the peripheral cost. In addition to the cost of the script itself, one should know he will need to host it on a server. Now get this, if more than 25 chatters are needed, then a dedicated server is preferred. For
Yeah.
high-load chat, you will need a strong server or an architecture of servers. Why would chat be such a resource hog? A text chat, why would that be such a resource hog? It makes no sense to me.
I'm not too sure. Like we have a dedicated VPS that we use for our chat. And the more users that we have in the chat, the more CPU that the system is using. I mean, we pay $6-7 a month for our VPS. But we get up to, I think we could have like 1,000 end users in the chat at any given time. And it's fine. But I don't know why it would generate so much. I mean, it depends on how fast a server is, I guess, right? If you have an i7, a quad-core i7, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Maybe they're talking about whenever they're loading theirs down with video and whatever else they have going on with it. But for text-based chat, I agree with, I don't know, I agree with Dirtbag. It's just not a resource hog. It's kind of a holdover from the Usenet days, which was developed when there was no bandwidth. What were the first chat rooms? AOL?
AOL servers, Yahoo. That's where all the pedophiles used to go, is Yahoo chat.
Is that where you found them?
Mm-hmm. That's where I would find all of them.
Okay. CompuServe, boy, I haven't heard that one in a long time. How do you drop completely out of prominence? All right, so Other than Rumble Talk, where can we go to get a free web chat, a free hosted chat room? Somebody
I'll tell you
say
right now. Wig, yeah, that's one.
Is it free?
I believe the Audacity of the podcast did an entire thing about on chat rooms to use, and they all support Chatwing. I don't know why, but all these podcasters all suggest Chatwing.
Well, why?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Mike, you can just go on Google and search, and just
I
put.
can find tons of things, Amnon, but there's no comparison to having someone who's had an experience
Okay, yeah, that's true.
with a search.
Yeah, if you're looking for recommendations, I couldn't give you. I know that I didn't like Chatango. There was a good reason. I mean, I went and I set it up for each and every show in the beginning, and there was something about it.
But you know what else you could do? I mean, honestly, why not just embed you could just, instead of using a chat room, you could have people participate on Twitter and just have them do direct tweets and have that embedded on your website.
That's a bad idea for two reasons.
Why is that?
Why?
One, okay.
Because it blasts all of your followers.
No. If you set a Twitter hashtag, if you set a Twitter widget to view tweets at a certain person, it's not gonna blast your followers. You're not tweeting anything.
Say that again. So let's suppose you did that and I wanted to tweet to your show.
So here we go, Mike. On my website, I would have a Twitter widget that says, or I would have a widget from Twitter.com that says any tweets at GameCat or at Radar Gaming get displayed in this box. So Mike Phillips would write, at Radar Gaming, I don't think this is going to be a good game when it launches, and that widget would update with your tweet. I'm not tweeting anything. You're tweeting me with like a not a direct message, but you're tweeting me directly, so your followers won't see it unless they're following both of us.
Right, but let's assume they are.
Okay, and I'm not going to be tweeting back.
Yeah. I mean, it can be done. I have actually participated in some shows where they did that. And for even Ray Ortega does that with their chat on Google Plus for some of the shows they do. Dan McDermott does, and it's really hard to follow. I mean, it's really more trouble than it's worth.
Mike, did you see what Jeff Bundy put the Chatwing?
Free, easy, and configurable.
Yeah, well, that's the one that what's his name is using, Tom Sinclair.
Daniel. Oh, Tom.
Yeah, Tom uses Chatwing. I don't like it because there is way too much white space on the screen. I don't understand chats that just instead.
That's a very minimal problem, though.
Well, I know. I mean, I like to be able to look at one screen and see a bunch of information versus just seeing 10 lines.
I mean, here, look at, I mean, there's so many. Chatango, 99 chats, User Plane, Chat Roll, C-Box.
And they're all about the same, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Every one of them.
So, Mike, now why don't you use IRC with like Mibu or something, which Mibu's like a really good embed.
How do you spell that?
It's I think it's MIBEW. Yeah, Mibu. Here we go. This is a good one. Oh wait, no, not Mibu. Not Mibu. Hold on. Mibu is something else. Wrong chat.
Didn't you run a BBS, Amnon?
Yeah.
Alan is asking in chat if anyone ran one in the 80s and the 90s.
Oh, Mibit is the thing I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
I did.
Mibit,
and
Mibit.
Tim Barber.
MIBBIT.
Yeah, Mibit is good for. Mibit is the best web IRC client you will find, and it's very, very easy to use.
So if you were going, when you say use Mibit, is that a client or a host?
No, it's a client. You have an IRC server on GeekShed or somewhere else, and then you just point Mibit to it.
from your the each chatter has to install it, right?
No. It's a web-based. It's you just embed it on your. Here, I'll show you an example of where it's.
Yeah.
Power just flickered.
Sorry.
Are we still on?
I am.
Oh yeah, no, it didn't. I mean, the UPS is working, but I mean, it's weird. It's always on the weekend.
Gene says I'm a lot louder than anybody else this morning.
You are.
You are a little bit loud.
Am I yelling? Because I yell.
Doesn't matter if you turn the volume down, you won't be yelling. There is no Mibbit, MIBBIT.com.
The webpage is currently down.
Oh, great.
Every time you need to show somebody something, the website's down. Yeah, Mibbit's good.
So explain to me. So if I say, okay, I'm going to use Mibbit, what does that mean? I go to there and set up an account, or?
So what you would do is you'd go to an IRC host first, like GeekShed, and register a chat room. And then from there, you go to Mibbit's website. You click create I think you just click create an embed or whatever. It asks you for the server and the channel name. And then from there, you put in, or if you're on GeekShed, it's irc.geekshed.com, and then the channel may be, pound McPhillips or whatever.
And the benefit of doing this versus using Chatwing?
It's IRC. If somebody wants to use a client, they can. These other chats are a pain to use. You disconnect from the web page, and you've got to create Nick Craig-1 because the other nickname is still there. And then if it crashes again, it's Nick Craig-3, and it's just a pain in the butt.
Now wait, this is only on ours because
there's other web chats that do it too. It's a pain. There's like a timeout period.
I made the timing to keep you long, because when I was looking at the weblog, it was just constantly running because it involves JavaScript in there, and it was just going and going and going and going and going, and in 2 hours it would fill megabytes of log that is meaningless. Just refresh, they're still here, yes. So I told Ron to do it like after I don't know how long. So it will not do it. So it'll stop doing it. But that's why if you don't log out,
but if your browser crashes, you can't log out.
Correct. No, I agree.
Okay, so if you go the Mibbit route, and that's going to be free.
Correct. Yeah, you just need an IRC server.
So if you decided you wanted to go the IRC route, that's the way you would set it up, because that's not the way you set it up.
Correct. I would use Mibbit. If you're going for user friendliness, I'd go with Mibbit. And it's JavaScript, so it'll work on mobile devices.
But doesn't Mibbit do some weird stuff?
They all do, apparently.
But you got to remember the audience. You're not. This is not a technical audience.
Yeah, you want a situation where people can just go in and be there.
Like Andrew, most people are not going to register a nick. That's not going to be a thing. So it doesn't matter if they're using, what's the one that everybody uses?
You were using Kiwi.
I am using Kiwi's another. They're all the same. You could use Kiwi too.
I use Kiwi.
If you're going for really user friendly, I'd go with Mibbit or Kiwi, something like that. I used Mibbit a while ago.
And I don't want to spend the whole show on this, but the last question I would suggest would be the business of it logging you in anonymously versus having to type in at least a name like Amnon has.
I think you need to type in a name.
You should.
People don't know how to change it, especially you're going with a non-technical audience. They won't know how to change it, and then you're going to end up referring to, viewer 1379
Right.
And it's just not productive.
I want to try, but do you understand this whole discussion? Can you imagine the non-technical people who are struggling with this question? I mean, it's one of those questions that once you understand the question thoroughly, the answer is often pretty simple, but sometimes you don't know enough to ask the question. And that's the purpose of this article. because I sure as heck don't know much about chatting, and I got to get Nick to read it so I don't embarrass myself.
So did you get
too,
anything?
You too, Andrew.
Did you get a bunch from what or anything from what we were talking about so far? Mike?
What? Did I get what?
Did you get anything or a bunch from what we were talking about?
I don't remember what we were talking
Or
about.
or are you still as confused?
Oh no, I've got a whole lot of. I mean, these notes I'd already done 2 full pages of notes, but
Okay.
you
Alright.
guys provided some real good clarity on some things.
Hold that back up. No, the other side. Your handwriting is immaculate.
So
Damn.
Don't insult him.
Don't insult him.
All right.
Andrew's there and doesn't know the definition of immaculate.
Now there's a couple more things that I want to
I've got
talk about
something here.
before. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
Oh. Do we know of you know those robocall systems that like a county may have or a town may have that if there's like an Amber Alert or whatever, calls everybody that's in the county or whatever?
Yeah.
Any idea what the cost of implementing a system like that is?
Very expensive.
How expensive?
It's not.
Millions of dollars.
It's. I mean, to do it yourself?
No, I'm not trying to do it myself.
I
need to
mean,
propose
I
this
got
to
to
my
the point. I was looking for a service that will call me.
No, I'm talking about dialing.
Wait.
Okay.
That will call me to remind me of a show on Friday evening, because I would forget sometimes. There's not that many services that do that. I was looking for something we can install on the server. I found all those that will do it are actually services that are there to call out. So you put your list of people and it calls them with notices that you wanted to deliver. So all these like elections and all that kind of stuff. It's running around 5 cents a call. So to send it to thousands of people is going to be expensive.
Okay, so there is a water main break in the town of Colony,
Right.
which has let me get you the exact.
If you want to be able to provide such a service, you're really going to have.
No,
to,
I'm not trying to provide it.
Oh.
I need to. So there's about 81,000 people
Yeah,
in the
they
town
must
of
have
Colony.
their own. They must have their own.
They don't have one. That's the problem. There was a water main break yesterday,
and
they did not. Their people don't have any clue that there's a water main break.
that's that.
A neighbor of mine went to a restaurant last night and they had no clue that there was a water main break.
And they want to get a phone call, not SMS.
No, I need to propose to. This is not the town. I need to propose to the town that they need to have this service because there's contaminated water
now
throughout
wait,
the entire town and people have no clue that.
Now
this is
hold it
happening.
a second. Do you? Oh, Mike. I mean Spence.
I was going to say, I used to sell this stuff.
The big phone robocall systems.
Yeah, and there's different levels of. It depends on what you want to do with it and how deeply embedded you want to get into different services and packages. It's very expensive because it's the setup and programming, not so much the hardware. The hardware is not that expensive. You have to pay for additional trunk lines, for example. You have to have the outbound dialing hardware, but that's
Right.
the expense is really in the programming. And there are vendors that will offer service-oriented architecture solutions. The simplest ones is just literally a list. You plug in the message, it calls everybody. That's the kind that people use for political campaigns. But if you want something that's going to have some intelligence in it and have, for example, the ability to do follow-ups, the ability to do, especially with a municipality for first responders, where they have the systems that we used to sell would be not only to notify residents, but to also, for example, there's an emergency happening in this part of town. It would call all of the people it knew were available or on call for that geography and call them and set up a conference call, do all these different additional services on top of just the call.
Yeah, no, the system I'm thinking of here is literally type in the message. There's a water main break for the next 48 hours. Boil your water. Call 81,000 people. You're
Right.
done.
That
No,
would
no
be
second
that's a
call.
simple robocaller. You just have to have the database of phone numbers, and it just
And what
goes.
kind of I mean, obviously this was years ago, right, when you were setting these up, or was this recent?
The
No, this
thing,
was within the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, okay. How much is one of those baseline systems?
Depends on how many lines. Yeah, it depends on the capacity of the system.
What's
Depends.
an average? Five or 10 calls at a time?
do you know how
more than that typically, depending on the size of it. Depends on the size of the town.
do you know how
But
long it's
it
going to
also depends on what kind of phone switch they have to start with, because some phone switches it's a simple add-on,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really hard to say a price.
Do you think this is okay? So then maybe the better question is this something reasonable for a town of 81,000 people to implement a very basic robocalling system to inform people that, hey, don't drink your water, there's toxins in it?
Well, Nick, again, it's always if the municipality has money, then yes. But what I mean, remember, you're the one that was telling us how everybody uses smartphones.
Yeah.
So what about sending an SMS or an email? An email will be real easy
Yeah, but-
and free.
Yeah, but the problem is, Amnon, you're gonna have to go to the website and register your email address. People aren't gonna do that. That's
So-
why you have your phone directory and you dial all 70,000 phone numbers that are registered in your county.
Yeah, but even that's become obsolete because people,
Yeah, but Nick, a lot of them
register
have to
mobile numbers.
register their home numbers, and many people no longer have phone numbers, nor do they answer their phone number.
But if you get a hold of one person that's got a house phone, they can inform other people.
Wouldn't the same go for an email?
It would go for an email, but if people don't sign up, then what are you going to do? The problem is this is in effect for 48 hours. A neighbor of mine went to a submarine place last night and said, "Hey, what?
What? You went to a submarine? For
A
what's
sub, like a sandwich shop, a submarine shop."
The deli.
Yeah, I guess so. Went
So-
there and said, you guys are using boiled water, right?" And they said, "What are you talking about?" This is like 9 o'clock last night. And they had absolutely no clue that there was a boiled water advisory. So they've been serving out food all day with vegetables that were cleaned and God knows whatever's in this water. People don't know. I posted it on Facebook at
the other side of this,
10:07 a.m. yesterday morning, and there was like 30 comments of people that had absolutely no clue that it was in effect.
Nick, the other side of this is if I see the phone ringing and it's not something that I recognize and I pick
it
it
goes
up.
to your machine.
Wait, and I pick it up and I don't hear somebody talking to me right away. I know it's a robocall and I hang up.
Okay,
A
well,
lot
then
of people
that's
do
your,
that. What?
I'm sorry, but then that's your stupidity. Then
understand.
I mean, I can't.
I understand perfectly. I know.
And I would do the same thing, but there's got to be a way. There was no public alert. How are people supposed to know? There's no news on Saturday or Sunday.
Right. Have a
There
car.
was
Have a car that drives around and tells it. How do you let people know that a tornado is coming?
You have weather radios.
I understand, but not everybody.
The TV breaks into scheduled programming.
There you go. They need to
Time
do.
Warner Cable does or at least locally, Time Warner Cable blasts an overlay out over every single channel and stops all programming.
Right. So what's wrong with that? Why couldn't they do that?
Because they're not the cable system.
No, but the cable system is there for the community. It's all communities. I mean,
Well, so then who do I contact? Do I contact the cable system or the town? This is
I don't
the
know
town's
how
responsibility to have some type of.
I have no idea how that stuff works, but I know that if there's a silver alert, if there's a yellow alert, if there's a weather alert, yes, Time Warner and even on the air, they are required to break in. And when there's something like this, I would say that falls under the same.
I would agree 100%.
Yeah.
What's in these? I mean, this is a precautionary advisory, but what's in this water?
You need to research and see what does it take to get a message into the emergency, whatever they
yeah,
call
but
it.
it wouldn't be EAS because the EAS system is a government regulated system. But what does it take for Time Warner to? I can't imagine it
But-
takes more than
but-
a button on a keyboard for Time Warner to
but you don't-
overlay
but
something
you
to
don't
all
underst-
subscribers.
Nick,
Nick,
you
there, I found something, robocall starting at 1 cent a call.
there you
It's
go.
not bad.
It's a service.
What do you have a name of it?
Do it. I don't know. Probably is there all kinds of setup and all that. It's probably something you don't want to own. You want to have.
No,
something-
it would be it would be something that I would but I just need to go. There's a town hall meeting on the 4th of December.
81.
I just
81,000 pennies is what? $810?
yeah, but you got to remember but plus they wouldn't be using this system. They would get their own system. They're a town
Well,
for 800. Yeah, is it worth $800? Sure, it's worth. Is it worth $1,000?
oh, worth? Yeah, but will they do it?
I think they should. I'm very
No?
upset with the town. How are people supposed to know? I mean, what are the means of communication? Social media?
Nobody's arguing with you about that, and that's why I was going to say that. Why do you think that a water break that is endangering people's health is not part of the EAS?
Because the EAS is government regulated, and that doesn't
It's
fall under the
regulated for the locals. They say you have to do it when there is an emergency. It's not that they do it.
Yeah,
Remember,
but somebody has to broadcast that EAS.
that's correct.
The EAS has to be originated somewhere. So the government,
Yeah,
the
so
National Weather Service can broadcast an EAS.
And when
They
there's
have the availability to do
and
that.
when there's a yellow alert, the police is doing it.
The state
probably.
police, yeah.
Yeah.
can
So
have
in
the
this
alert.
case, the city will have to do it, and it will only be on stations that are carried in the city. I would think. I don't
See,
know.
that's where I think I'm not sure if the town has the right to originate an EAS. I don't
They
know
go-
if
it's
the
not
cable
the- it's
system
not-
allows that.
It's not the right to. It's permission and arrangements and.
Well, that's what I mean by the right. They don't have
Yeah.
they don't have the right to do it.
You don't think, and
Somebody-
I think they
Someone in
do.
the town is responsible for public safety. They're the ones that can originate it.
Yeah.
Public safety, police, fire,
Yeah.
civil defense.
You need to find out. Don't assume that they cannot.
You can do auto dialing with as simple as having a server with a depending on the kind of PBX you're using,
Mm-hmm.
where it will just connect to it over a network and send XML commands to it to say dial this number and play this message.
So in your guys' opinion, what do you think I propose to this town when I go in there and say this is
Say
unacceptable?
go like there. I found a place called callcentertech.com, and it's a company that does either they install systems or they will do it as a service.
What was it called? Call Center Tech?
Callcentertech.com. I'll put the link in the chat. But this is the kind of place that, and there's a lot of these out there. They'll do if it's a not-for-profit or a municipality, they give you a discount, and the technology is advanced enough that it can detect an answering machine and knows to leave a message, or if there's no response, it puts it in the queue to call later, things like that.
Okay. It's just it's not like it's a small municipality. I mean, there's almost 100,000 people in the
Now,
town.
if this would be if they somebody had to have been considering this already,
Oh,
for
God, I'd hope so. I
public
mean,
safety. So,
I don't know how it's gone this long without it.
well, in the old days, Amnon, do you remember seeing pictures of this back in the old civil defense days? There'd be a truck driving around with a big
Yeah, absolutely.
speaker.
That's because that was the only way to do it.
Movie
Not-
Buff
not-
makes a good point about
Not everybody had a phone. There were no computers. There were no cell phones. So you had to take a truck and drive around and tell people what's going on. Yeah.
Now the other part with the TV thing is it's a weekend.
Yeah.
People don't have the TV on. Plus people
It has
are
to be
cord-cutting.
it has to be multi what's the word? Targeted, TV, radio, phone. If
I mean,
it's
all of the news stations have it on the front page of their website. I mean, it was
yeah, so
I put it all over Facebook.
yeah, but people would have to go there and see it. Well,
Yeah, I'm looking at
I don't
even
know what
comments on the post on Facebook of people saying how this was so poorly communicated. I can't tell
I-
you how many Facebook messages I sent out yesterday and how many people I called at 10 o'clock telling them, like, hey, boil some water. And they go, what?
I saw your Facebook post.
yeah, I mean, it's who knows how many people you saved from.
Well, that's the thing. Over
Sickness.
1,000 people saw my Facebook post since yesterday. So it's
Bye,
like
Andrew.
I should not be the source of informing people that the water they're drinking could be contaminated.
Right. It's a shame that the city itself is not thinking about this, and you're the one.
It's not even on the town's website.
Yeah.
The town website's a piece of crap to start, so it's like they don't have anything there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's up there now. There it is. It wasn't.
Yeah.
up
Well,
there
when
last
they
time.
see that other people are
Here's-
doing it, they decide, oh
Here's their
well.
big press release about it's a press release. It's a PDF. Residents of the town of Colony's Latham Water District, including the village of Colony, are advised to boil water for the next 48 hours.
This company, and
So-
like I said before, there are a lot of companies like this. But if you send people to their page, like they've got a whole page just on public service announcements and what they're used for, designed specifically, delivered. They could set it up and provide the services for you for public service announcements and communications. They specifically show a forest fire. So
I don't get it.
Well, do you have enough information now to go and look?
Yeah, I have. I had absolutely no clue yesterday at this
Okay,
time
well,
about any
there
of
you
this
go.
stuff. So
That's
yeah, I appreciate it. I don't understand how something like this is not already up and running, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
all right. Let's go to some computer
Yeah,
What's
related stuff.
computer.
Another well, computer, internet, some more technology stuff. Back to Uverse. So Uverse has caps, right?
You're the expert on that.
Your phone has caps, right? For minutes?
Not normally, no. Not now.
some do.
It depends. I mean, I
Right.
think all of the
How do you
self-providers
know?
are
How do
unlimited.
you know how many did you already use?
Either the phone or the website will tell you.
Right.
You can
Well, guess
dial. Like Verizon has a number you dial, like a star.
Yeah.
Very
something that
nice.
tells you
well,
all
guess
your
what?
usage.
Uverse does not. Uverse
That means you have to do it on your router.
Uverse
Sounds like
has
fun.
no service, no ability to let you see an ongoing usage of your capped internet data. I spent about an hour going back and forth, and the way that it works is if you get to 75%, then they send you an email saying that you use 75%, and then at 85%, and then at 95%. And I said, well, but I don't know how to manage it throughout the month to know how much I'm using daily in order to plan accordingly. They say, yeah, that's true. And I said, in that case, I want it to be on my record in your notes that you cannot overcharge me if I'm using. Why? I said, because you're not allowing me to see throughout the month. What happens if by day 15th I'm using 100%? Am I supposed to stop using it? And in the beginning, the cap is 250 gigabytes, Andrew. I mean, I don't think I'll ever use it, but it's a matter of principle here. You are capping somebody, then you have to let them know how much they're using. Imagine you have 500 minutes on your phone and you have no way of telling how many minutes you used so far. And then you run into a situation where at the end of the month, you get a bill for another 500 minutes. Well, for me, it's a lot. So there's nothing they could say. They said, no, we don't have it now. I mean, we're working on something. And I said, you have it for your phone, because we also got our phone bundled, our home phone, and it's like 200 minutes. That's no big deal because we don't use it that much. I said, you're giving me information. Your website, when I go and I click on data usage, takes me around and around and brings me back to the phone usage. This is really bad. And they say, well, we're working on making it available to the public. I went and I read and I researched online, and a lot of people say that they do not enforce their caps. Others were also saying AT&T hasn't the technology to offer this. And I told the supervisor, or so I was told, it was supervisor. I said, I understand that AT&T is not an internet service provider. You guys don't understand about these things. You understand about the phones. And then, I mean, I said it like that on purpose. I knew that I was sticking a knife. And he said, all I can tell you is that we're working on providing that. So that's you just need to keep that in mind. And I don't know if other people is Tim still here? I mean,
That reminds me of a news story a while back about
Jason is gone too. Yeah.
some similar situation
What?
where there was a company that had a cap but didn't actually know how to even measure it and didn't tell anybody they knew about it until afterwards.
Right. It's just amazing that companies would do that.
No, I think they put word out there, they're working on it, and that way they're preparing
Yeah.
people for when they actually do
Yeah.
enforce it. I think it was an ISP or someone a mobile phone provider that had a cap that didn't enforce it at first. This is going back a few years. I don't remember who it was.
So, are you ready with the specials?
I am. Do you have the? I sent you the PDF.
It's already up there.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind that some of these websites did tease you with saying, "Oh, take a look at the preview of Black Friday." Well, you go in and try to look, and it's very hard to find pricing. It's kind of just teasers to get you to look. So I did go with today's specials, which they're advertising as, "Don't wait for Black Friday. These are great deals." And
Is it the pre Black Friday sales? Those are my favorites.
Friday sales?
Oh, God, I can't get enough.
Best Buy is actually having Black Friday in advance when you order online.
Oh, my God.
So, and some of those are actually pretty good too. But I cherry picked. I looked for good stuff.
So are you
good
ready?
deals that were out there. I am ready.
Yeah, go.
All right, here we go. Starting this week with Best Buy, they have an entry-level touchscreen Asus Transformer 16 gig Android tablet. Now, when I say Transformer, it means it looks just like a netbook or an Ultrabook, but it separates into a touchscreen tablet, or you can have the keyboard attached. It's actually a nice little device. $249.99, save $50. They've got a Toshiba Encore 2 32 gig tablet, Windows 8 Intel processor, $249.99, is 20 off. They've got a Asus Mimo 7 tablet with this is a bundle with a Targus case and a 16 gig micro SD card for $119.99. That's $64.98 off. Here's an interesting device, and this is handy if you don't have one. USB 2.0 to VGA display adapter. And I used to use these quite a bit before I had docking stations, or if it was a laptop especially, docking stations that offered more than one video port on them. But this is $39. This is a pretty good price, $10 off. And it's they also have an HDMI adapter version of this that plugs into USB. Not sure how good that could be over USB 2.0, but useful anyway, just to add a second monitor. This is useful if you don't have a docking station, you have a laptop and you want to hook up two displays. You can plug this into USB and have a second display. You will also notice lag in video performance, so I would use it mainly for a screen for using it for Word or applications, not for video. Let's see. They also have a bundle. They call it HP Complete Your Experience for Less with HP. So they've got an HP quad-core AMD A8 laptop. Along with that, a bunch of other add-ons, flash drive, some other things like screen cleaner, a case, and things like that. WebRoot software, $379. I mean, it's just good for a touchscreen laptop, quad-core laptop for $379. So that's a good bundle price. Logitech Keyboard Folio for iPad. This is the rechargeable Bluetooth portable keyboard with case, $59.99. That's $40 off. I have the earlier version of this. It's very well made. You charge it up, it'll go for a day or two without having to recharge, and it's really handy if you want to travel only with your iPad. SanDisk Ultra 64 USB 3.0 flash drive, $24.99, $75 off the regular price. And this is a good deal. Just put them stocking stuffers. 8 gig PNY USB 2.0 flash drives, $3.99. Save $14. Got good deals on monitors. Samsung 19.5 inch monitor, $99.99, save $40. 21.5 inch Samsung, $119.99, save $50. 23.6 inch monitor, $149.99, save $100. There is another in another ad that will be an even better deal on a 24 inch monitor, which I'll get to. Seagate 3 terabyte personal cloud storage. It's a network attached storage drive with software to connect over the cloud. $129.99, save $50. Toshiba 1 terabyte USB 2.0 3.0 portable hard drive, $44.99. That's the cheapest it's been. Save $30. PNY Optima 240 gig internal SATA solid state drive for laptops, a 2.5 inch form factor, $89.99, save $20. Western Digital 3 terabyte external USB hard drive, $119.99, save $20. Western Digital 4 terabyte NAS drive, network attached storage for $219.99. That stuff's getting so cheap, it's amazing. Brother wireless all-in-one printer, inkjet printer, printer scanner, fax copier, $69.99. It also comes with automatic two-sided printing. HP LaserJet Pro, network-ready, black and white, all-in-one laser printer. This is with fax as well as scanner. $99.99. That's $100 off. It's half price. $110 off. I'm sorry. Brother wireless duplex mobile color page scanner. For $149.99, save $50. This can be very handy, especially if you're scanning photographs. But it's duplex. It scans both sides of the page in one pass. Great for uploading and saving documents if you're going paperless. That's all at Best Buy. We have at Staples, Canon wireless laser printer with two-sided duplex printing, $99.99, save $70. Brother mono laser all-in-one printer faxer scanner copier for $129.99, save $70. Brother mono laser printer wireless with duplex for $109.99, save $40. Brother P-Touch labeler, $24.99, save $25. The one thing to look at when you look at these labelers is look at the cost of the label material itself. Some of them especially the high-end ones, tend to be the more expensive labels. And they also waste a lot of label when you print. They have a long leader, 3/4 of an inch or so on either side of the actual printed material. So that's something worth looking into. But I believe this is one that works with some of the older or more established print tapes. Google Chromecast streaming media, $25, $10 off. You can save on SanDisk, SD, and micro SD cards, depending on the class. The cheaper ones are $5.99 for 16 gig, $32.99, or $10.99 for 32 gig. And then they've got the Ultra, which are the higher speed ones, 16 gig for $10.99, 32 gig for $15.99, and 64 gig for $31.99. And these represent probably 75% off the normal prices. Asus Windows 7 PC with an Intel Core i5. This is a desktop computer, no monitor. 12 gig of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, $599.99. Save $100. Windows 7. So if you need it, here's a good place to get it. I did help someone with some IT work this past week and wants to buy another laptop, or I'm sorry, desktop for his office. And now on the Dell site, they're actually charging extra money just to switch it to Windows 7 from Windows 8. So they're sticking it to you to get Windows 7. Asus touchscreen 2-in-1. This is a convertible touchscreen tablet that adds a keyboard that makes it look like an Ultrabook. It comes with a 10.1-inch screen, $349.99, save $100. It's running Windows 8. Logitech KT820 wireless all-in-one keyboard. This is keyboard with glide pad, no mouse needed. Good for multimedia entertainment environments where you want to sit on the couch and not have to have a mouse. They've got Lexar USB 3.0 flash drives on sale, 16 gig for $8.99, 32 gig for $14.99, 64 gig for $27.99, 128 gig for $49.99. And USB 3.0 comes in really handy if you're transferring large video files like I did this past week, where the files were 4 gig and there were 10 of them. So it can really save on time for you transferring.
But mention that it's only if you have USB 3.0.
You have to have a USB 3.0 capable port on your computer. If you have a laptop and it's a relatively new laptop, it will have at least one. If you have a desktop, you can add a card, PCI card, that will give you USB 3.0 ports. Western Digital MyBook desktop hard drive. This is a USB 3.0, 3 terabyte for $119.99, 4 terabytes for $139.99. Save $30 on that one. There's another Windows 7 PC available, Dell Core i3 Intel, $399.99, save $150. 8 gig of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive. Another Windows 7 laptop available. This is also a Dell 15.6-inch, 8 gig of RAM, 1 terabyte. And this is $529, it's $150 off. We've got an AMD A6 Dell touchscreen laptop. And this is $399.99, save $150. And that was all at Staples. Finally, Office Max, Office Depot. They've got a Lenovo Flex 2 laptop with a Core i5 touchscreen, $549.99. That's $200 off the regular price. Epson Workforce printer. This is a printer scanner fax copier, $69.99. Save $30. SanDisk Cruiser, 16 gig USB drive, $799. 32 gig for $11.99, 64 gig for $21.99. Boy, the price of flash memory, anything flash related has really dropped. Good for us. Canon Pixma wireless print scan fax copier, $99, save $100, half price. Wireless Brother compact laser printer scanner fax copier, $149.99, save $50. You've got a Lenovo AMD A8 desktop computer, 6 gig of memory, 1 terabyte hard drive, $349, save $100. That's with Windows 8. This was the deal I was talking about earlier about a monitor, a great deal. 24-inch LED monitor from Samsung, $119.99. Save $80. And a 24, I have two 23s and two 22 monitors. And they're already great. I can't imagine what it would be like to have an even bigger one on desktop. It would be wonderful if you don't have one today, big one like this. Good price. Western Digital MyBook 3 terabyte external hard drive for $119.99, 4 terabytes for $149.99, 6 terabytes for $249.99. And finally, they have a HP Pavilion TouchSmart AMD quad-core A10 processor with 8 gig of memory, 750 gig hard drive. Again, it's a touchscreen. $529.99, save $180. And that's one of their higher end. Comes with the Beats audio and all that. So good deals out there. That is all at Office Depot, Office Max.
Very, very good.
Pre-Black Friday specials.
And you mentioned a PCIe USB 3.0 card, and I posted a link to one that I bought.
Oh, good. Yes.
In June, and it's like $20 on Amazon, and I use like 3 or 4. I use 3 ports on it, and it works great.
I have one that I had 3 externals and 1 internal USB port, which you can remote to the front of the.
Oh yeah, this one has that as well.
Yeah, that's a good feature.
I think
save some grief, but yeah, USB 3.0, fantastic. Just
very inexpensive too.
Do backups to desktop USB hard drives that are 3.0. It just makes the backups that much faster.
Yeah, and the card's very inexpensive, so.
Yes.
Not only that, but it also offloads from your main USB that's on the board. So
I moved my webcam off of the onboard, and I power my webcam in like an external drive with this card, and it works really well.
Works nice. Absolutely.
I'm happy with it.
Very, very good.
I kind of like this format because if I have the ad in front of me with the graphic, it leads to more commentary because I can actually look at it. And
yeah, and it's nice that people can follow along instead of pulling out a piece of paper and a pen and being like, "Is that really Office Max?" Or...
As long as I'm awake enough on Sunday mornings to get up there and do it. So usually the ads the night before are limited. Sometimes they don't show all the pricing or don't show all the information about the product. The preview ads.
Do you see the comment in the chat, Spence?
What's that?
You see the comment in the chat?
No. Let's see. Oh, good. Yeah, you're welcome. We were noodling over a way to do this better, and this is actually a better way to do it because Nick was requesting a way to document the week's specials, and this is by far, I think, the easiest way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's nice if somebody's at a store, they can go to the website on their phone and pull up the PDF.
Yeah, or have printed or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was
that.
My whole thing was during the week. If people are going out throughout the week, they can just check back to the website, like you said, and print it out or whatever
right.
on Tuesday or Wednesday, and there it is. They don't have to rewatch the episode and skip around to.
Oh, in that case, we're going to have to start charging for it. $1.380 for each one.
Oh yes, so we were talking about this when we started the show. Remember we were talking about Walmart said that they're going to price match throughout the holiday, anything, including Amazon. So this article goes, people are reportedly creating fake Amazon pages to show to show fake prices on electronics and other items. In the most heavily publicized cases, Walmart was reportedly duped into selling $400 PlayStation 4 consoles for under $100. From the article, it says the company announced on November 13 that it would price match select online retailers, including Amazon. However, any Amazon member with a registered selling account can create authentic looking pages and list items for sale online. Consumer need only take a screen capture of the page and show it to the cashier at checkout in order to request the price match. I'm sure Amazon loves this in a way, but when there's a will, there's a way. These people are trying to get something for nothing, and they found a way how to do it.
I have a first-hand experience.
Oh,
One of my friends took advantage of one of these deals.
a real
got a
deal
pl-
or a...
No, one of these Amazon. He got a PlayStation 4 for $90, and I've got one waiting for me if I want it. He picked up like 5 of them.
Jeez. I mean,
I was just a little bit too late. I called. This was last Thursday, I think. And I called, and the guy gave me an attitude about how it was a fake deal and everything. But my friend was got out of school early and was able to pick it. So I've got one waiting for me if I want it.
I don't know how they're going to deal with this. The only way that
Well, they stopped price matching the thing.
Well, they changed their policy. It says they'll honor 30 major online retailers, but will not honor prices from marketplace vendors, third-party sellers, auction sites.
And that's what
requiring memberships.
Target had that in their price match from the beginning. So because we were calling around to all these local retailers, and I went to Target's website, and it's sold by Amazon, not sold by a third party.
Oh, so if it's sold by Amazon, they will.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But the other way these people were scamming the system is, so the name of some of the things were like, Amazon Electronics. And like one of the E's was an X or something, and they were, it was like Amazon with like with an N, not an M. So you look at it quick and it says Amazon. Oh, okay, yeah, Amazon. Here you go. Here's your $90. There you go. So they were kind of gaming the system, but somebody took advantage of it, and I will most likely be taking advantage of it whenever if I decide to buy one off of him.
So are you grandfathered into getting it, or?
Well, no, he bought 5 of them at $90.
Oh, okay. So you're buying from him.
And there's a good chance I'm gonna buy one from him.
Yeah.
If I want it, which I might. I don't know.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, Nick, yesterday we worked on a new machine to do the streaming, and Nick configured it, and everything worked. Yet yesterday when I put it where it belongs, it did not want to do the audio. One UCA202 will come on, the other one will not. And depends how I plug them in. One will operate. The first one will operate. The second one will flicker and go out. And I wish Mike was here, which he's not, because I want him to hear this. So maybe I'll talk about it later when he comes back.
I know your issue. I had it too.
I had to use a different USB sound card. That's how I solved it.
Another thing you could do is just if you have a PCIe USB card.
I can't fit one in there anymore with that big video card. So I went ahead and the one good thing that came out of it, Nick, is I think I learned how to do how to add and remove a source and how to configure a source for audio.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, now we're talking.
I mean,
good.
I mean, I'd lie if I didn't say that the minute I saw that I went and tried to get you, but I saw that you were not. Said no, I'm going to try it.
I'm glad you tried it. See,
it's working really nice. It's not the brand new machine. It's an older i5, but it's Windows 7 64-bit. And actually, right now that we're doing the 3 CDNs plus the HLS, It is at 61%.
Nice.
Used to run 90 some, 80, upper 80s, lower 90s. So the 64-bit helps a lot here. And Mike told me for a while now, he said, because every time when I rebooted the machine, it would not recognize one or the other as far as the audio inputs. And I had to unplug them one at a time and plug them back in for it to recognize the two UCA 202s. With this one, it did not want to do it. I don't care how many times I unplug and plug them, it only recognized the first one that you plug in. So he was right back then when he said you need to use a different. I'll bet you. He said you need to use another USB sound card, different one, not a Behringer. And Movie Buff, yes, it's we're using my Wirecast 6 64-bit, and it's working great. And VLC, I changed that too to 64-bit. And when I did that, I don't remember doing that in the beginning, but apparently when I was playing the videos, the reruns with Desktop Presenter, but then it'll change video and suddenly the size will change. And I went and looked and couldn't find anything to do anything with. And finally I went on Google and said, forcing VLC to play same size. And sure enough, it's in the GUI tools of VLC, not in the advanced. And it says keep it the same size all the time. So checking that, and everything worked. So yeah, everything is 64-bit now on it, and it's working really nice. Mike is not back yet. But yeah, the new Wirecast, really nice. I mean, so far for what I'm using, I'm not using what would you say, 5%, 1% of it?
I don't know.
All I do is
You're not using any of the new features of it, though.
No. All I do is just stream, just use the encoder.
You're using the encoder, essentially.
And it works.
If it works, it works.
Yep. And I wanted to talk about Barbie.
Who?
Barbie.
Barbie?
Yeah, Barbie. Back in 2010, computer engineer Barbie was released. Apparently, there's computer engineer Barbie. There are different Barbies out there, right? Now, with the attention brought to the Frozen-themed programming game from Disney and Code.org, unwanted attention has been given to the surprisingly real book, Barbie, I Can Be a Computer Engineer. So much so that Mattel has pulled the book from Amazon. The book shows Barbie attempting to write a computer game. However, instead of writing the code, she enlists two boys to write the code as she just does the design. She then proceeds to infect her computer and her sister's computer with a virus and must enlist the boys to fix that for her as well. In the end, she takes all the credit and proclaims, I guess I can be a computer engineer. A blog post commenting on the book, as well as giving pictures of the book and its text, has been moved to Gizmodo due to high demands. So Barbie knows how to use her charm. And then I was thinking, heck, what about all these big companies that do the games? They don't write the games. They hire somebody to do it.
You're a Barbie girl.
You hire people to do the coding, and You sell it as whatever the company is. So yeah, good for you, Barbie. And Microsoft has announced that it will be pushing an out-of-band security patch. It already went through, but you need to pay attention to this. The patch, which affects nearly all of the company's major platforms, is rated critical, and it is recommended that you install the patch immediately. The patch is rated critical because it allows for elevation of privileges, seems like all of them do, and will require a restart. The platforms that are affected include Server 2003, Vista, Server 2008, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 1, Windows Server 2012, and Windows Server 2012 R2, Windows RT, and Windows RT 8.1. Windows 10 technical preview customers are affected too. So whatever Windows you're using, now they didn't mention XP, so I guess XP is safe.
They
No,
probably
it's
didn't
not.
mention it because they wouldn't have even updated it
Yeah.
anyway.
No, they did actually.
Hmm.
They did, and I had to do the update. Yeah. But it's important. You really need to go and do it.
When was it made available?
Last Tuesday.
Oh, I already did it.
I've got it already then, if that's the case. Yeah, I noticed an out of cycle
Yeah.
update. Yeah.
And anybody that bought a Chromebook, now you get 1 terabyte of Google Drive storage free for 2 years.
Oh, what's up? I have one.
I don't know. That's what they said. Anybody that bought a Chromebook, get 1 terabyte of Google Drive storage free for 2 years. That's nice. And talking about Nexus 6, there was a problem. According to a report by Droid Life, AT&T stores are being asked to return early Nexus 6 stock because of a bug that causes random reboots and renders the device inoperable without a forced restart.
So what's wrong with that?
Motorola accepted blame for the issue earlier today, saying it delivered a small number of Nexus 6 devices to AT&T customers with a faulty software. It has since corrected the issue, and all phones currently shipping should be okay. The company will provide replacements for affected users. If you're an AT&T customer who's experienced issues with your shiny new Nexus 6, and it's definitely worth looking into. We've reached out to Motorola for more information on the recall process, and we'll update as we hear back. This came from, I think, the Next Web. And the federal court has temporarily shut down and frozen the assets of 2 telemarketing operations accused by the FTC of scamming customers out of more than $120 million by deceptively marketing computer software and tech support services. Sounds familiar? According to
Wow, that's
complaints filed
a lot
by
of money.
FTC, since at least 2012, the defendant used software designed to trick customers into believing there were problems with their computers and then hit them with a sales pitch for tech support products and services to fix their machine. According to the FTC, the scams began with computer software that claimed to improve the security or performance of the customer's computer. Typically, consumers downloaded a free trial version of the software that would run a computer system scan. The scan always identified numerous errors, whether they had to purchase, whether they exist or not. I'm sorry. Consumers were then told that in order to fix the problem, they had to purchase the paid version of the software for between $29 and $49. In order to activate the software after the purchase, consumers were then directed to call a toll-free number and connected to telemarketers who tried to sell them unneeded computer repair services and software. The services could cost as much as $500. So they shut him down temporarily. Why temporarily? I don't know.
I thought you said they froze their asses.
Well, but it says
Make them sit on a
it says
block of
the
ice?
federal court has temporarily shut down and frozen the assets. Oh, frozen their asses? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people freezing their asses off this week.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Oh man, it's awful up here.
Yeah,
Well.
those pictures of people digging.
In Buffalo, yeah.
Sheesh.
So that's what Lake Effect will do.
Intel is shrinking PCs to thumb-sized computer sticks. That will be out next year. The stick will plug into the back of a smart TV or monitor and bring intelligence to that. PC Client Group during an Intel investor conference. That's when they announced it. They might be a bit late to the party, but since he mentioned both Chromecast and Amazon's Fire TV stick, hopefully that means that Intel has some more interesting and general purpose plans. So that would be nice if you can stick it into a monitor and have your computer there on a little stick, and you go somewhere and you just plug it to a monitor, and there's your PC. Well, I guess that's it. Ah, Mike is back.
I've been back.
Did you hear when I was talking about the sound problem?
No.
Yeah, you weren't back. So the new machine, I could not use both UCA 202s. Remember some time ago you told me that I would probably have to use a different one UCA 202 and another?
Yep.
Ended up having to do it.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. And the one that I'm using, I think, was like $4. And
So
it works.
long as it works.
It works. Yep, it works fine. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to talk about?
Not that I can think of.
Anything else that you want to talk about, Mike?
No.
Nothing you want to bring up? All right.
No. Am I missing something?
No. Yeah, I'm gonna say good morning to Norm. Don't worry, Andy. Okay, so shall we end it? Steve, do you have anything to add to the mix?
No, you brought up all the things that I could have brought up, so you did an absolutely excellent job.
Well, next time I'm going to ask you before I bring it up.
Well, in that case, I'd have to have my other browser open as well, so you'd probably catch me by surprise if you did that.
Oh, okay.
But generally, I think we look at the same sort of news sources anyway, so invariably we're looking at the same kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I usually have a glib comment to make about it.
Interesting. Brent is saying freebies from Tiger Direct? Really? Yes, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be careful if you're driving or flying. What's free? Oh, they give you McAfee. Oh, wow. No, it's not free.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah, it is free. Today price is $59.99, and you get rebate of $70. So they give you money to use it. Boy, McAfee must be really, really, really hurting. Oh no, it's multi-access, one user, 5 devices, and PNY 64 gigabyte. Oh, okay. both of them.
You're supposed to run both of them at once?
And you
Yeah.
and 5 devices. So if you can't, it's too
Mm.
bad. That's interesting. Did you? I didn't. Here, you didn't mention anything about Tiger Direct, did you?
No. Well, now that I'm doing it online, if they don't really have a weekly ad, but they do have
No.
the daily deal slasher. Let's see, refurbished. No, they don't actually
Okay.
run it.
Well,
Might
thanks
be worth it
everybody.
to scan.
The what?
Might be worth it to scan that. I'll see if I have time. This
Yeah.
this week I just didn't have any time.
Next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
They do have a weekly ad now available on the Tiger Direct site. Look at that.
Oh.
It's back. It's back.
Well,
goodness.
I don't think they could survive Christmas without ads.
No, they've got to have it. Got to
They'd be
have it.
stupid not to do it.
Wow. They actually have their Black Friday ad out already too. That's a whole other show though.
Well, that's right. Too late. Just go to I mean, there is a link on the Tiger Direct website. Go
Yes,
and
yeah,
do it
it's
for
there.
What?
It's there.
Yeah, so people can go and look
I'll
themselves.
put it in the chat.
There's a couple of sites in the UK that are starting Black Friday deals now. Not heard of it apart from in America before, but yep, looks like we're jumping on that bandwagon too.
Just think of all the wonderful things we've exported to you folks. All the great traditions and crap.
Yeah. Thanks, America.
Oh well. Yeah, it looks like Amnon. They've got a 4-camera security system, 8-channel, 4-camera.
Yeah, but
Well,
those
149.
those cameras are really, really low resolution.
So all you see is a blob moving across.
Well,
the screen.
no, I mean, but it's not even 420 lines. It's like I think 380. And today the norm is like 700.
Okay.
So it's bad.
A pixelated blob.
That's how I feel when
Okay.
I wake up in the morning.
So again, thank you everybody. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 8, it's the Tanya Love Show. Again, have a happy Thanksgiving, safe one. Be careful when you're driving or flying.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.